Hey everyone, my name is Neil Patel and welcome to Code 2023 by Expand My Business. Today I'm going to be talking about the future of search. I'm going to be going beyond search, what you're used to and what you're learning about. Yes, I'm going to be talking about some AI stuff as you guys have been seeing. It's the hot topic. So let's dive right in. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share my entire screen so you guys can see. And all right, let me get into slideshow mode. So the title of the presentation, as I mentioned, is Search Beyond the Search. And this is what we're going to get into so we can break down the future of search. And when I say beyond search, the reason I say this is most people think of search as just Google and Bing, and there's way more to search than just those two platforms, which again, we'll dive in a bit. My name is Neil Patel. I'm the co-founder of NP Digital. We're a global ad agency. We help people generate more traffic to their websites and sales. We also have an India office, NP Digital India, where we have a team of 100 to 200 people that just work on a lot of different accounts like Tata and Reliance and a lot of companies like that, in which we help them with their marketing. We're in over 9 different countries. We work with over 70 different accounts. We have won a lot of different awards, and we also have a lot of testimonials. More importantly, we're seeing a ton of data. All this data is helping us break down, all right, what's happening, what are the trends, and how companies need to adapt. So first off, I want to discuss the need for search and search transformation. Look, search is an ongoing human need and will never cease to exist. Fun fact for you, even though people are searching from the moment they're born and a baby crawling on the floor, they're constantly looking for new things. But the need to constantly learn more and search for more doesn't end there. Just imagine this, and this is a fun fact, and this is from Google. 15% of all Google searches have never been searched before. That means today, out of all the billions of people that are searching, or even this week or this month, 15% of those searches have never been searched before. That just shows you that there's so much untapped potential within the industry because a lot of people are still curious and learning new things. When you also compare all the channels out there, search engines were more than 2 times more value than email, 5 times more value than online maps, and 50 times more value than social media. This is from an MIT study. This is what people would say, hey, what happens if some of these channels didn't exist, or how much compensation would you need to give up various digital channels and services? And people want to search more than any other channel. Even though people talk about Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, although in India you can't use TikTok, search, even though it's not talked about as much, it's what people really love and need in their lives because it solves a lot of problems. It transforms people. It gives them the knowledge that they're looking for on any topic. And you're seeing this with a lot of people craving AI because it allows them to learn and do more with what they're learning with things like ChatGPT or Bard. When people are searching, and this right here, the screenshot is from Google, there's different phases, from awareness to interest to decision to action. In essence, these are different parts of a funnel. Some people are just interested on a topic. Some people are interested in taking action, such as a purchase. And there's all these steps in between. When you create content that helps people with their whole journey, you're much more likely to generate more traffic and sales. This is the emotional journey people go through when searching, and this is from Google. Keywords are also directional, and it helps guide search engines as well as you on what you should be looking for. And I'll give you a great example of this. If someone is searching for that their head hurts, is it that their head hurts because someone took a hammer and hit them on the head, or that they have a headache? Context is super important, and search engines are continually trying to figure out the context when you perform a search. And depending on the platform you're using, the results you'll get is different. See, most people, when they think of search, especially in India, Google is the main search engine. Bing isn't as popular, but it's not just there. YouTube is the second most popular search engine. I understand it's owned by Google, but it's still the second most popular search engine. Then there's also search on Pinterest and also on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and the list is never ending. I want you to think about it this way. If you type in Amsterdam, you're going to get different results depending on the platform you're using. On Google, you can get showtimes. On YouTube, you may find trailers. On Pinterest, you may find images of the city, and same with TikTok and Instagram. On Twitter, you may find the latest news that's happening. The results are going to vary depending on the platform you are using. See, before, when people were creating content and doing marketing as a business or as a marketer, it wasn't that hard to stand out. There's this image, we call it here in the States, Where's Waldo? In the UK, they call it Where's Wally? And the goal is you look at an image and you need to find the guy with a t-shirt that's in white and red stripes. Now, the image on the left, there's a Waldo or a Wally in there. He's actually, I'll use my mouse pointer. I don't know if you guys can see. He's right there. And when you look at him, he stands out. He's different. But now everyone's looking the same, especially because of AI and ChatGPT and Barf. And here's what I mean by that. All these tools are creating a mass amount of content creation. Even tools like Midjourney. Midjourney helps you create images on anything. You can say, I'm looking to put an elephant in space with the background of the moon, and I want the elephant in an astronaut suit eating some peanuts. And Midjourney will create that image for you. ChatGPT can help you write any articles. Bard can too. Heck, they can even help you create tools. The game Pong was created in 60 seconds using ChatGPT. And we're just at the beginning of AI. But here's what's crazy. If you look at how long it took some of these platforms to receive 1 million users, look how many months it took Netflix or Twitter or Facebook and Instagram. Everyone thought that was fast. Well, ChatGPT saw 1 million users within the first 5 days. I kid you not, 5 days. That's it. It was so quick. And it just shows that AI is going to change the landscape. And everyone is going to be using it to create Me Too content. Look, there was decades where nothing was happening, but now it feels like there's weeks where decades are happening. That's how fast things are changing with AI, especially when it comes to search. And how do we get here? Well, when you look at a survey from McKinsey from 2017 to 2022, the adoption of AI has more than doubled. But now it's pretty much flatlined around 50 to 60%. It's somewhere around there. And we're just at the beginning. And in this presentation, I'm not going to focus too much on AI because people right now are overestimating what AI can do for them in the short run and underestimating what it can do for them in the long run. And let me repeat myself. In the short run, people are overestimating, in which they believe AI can solve all their problems, and that's not the case. In the long run, people are just scratching the surface and imagining what AI can do. In the long run, it'll be able to do much more than people can even imagine. But you just have to be patient and give it time. And even with search, these platforms aren't just going to crush advertising. Google generates over $100 billion a year in revenue from ads. They're not just going to say, hey, let's do AI and don't worry about ads or organic results. They generate over $30 billion a year from their ad network or partner network, like things like AdSense. And a lot of those sites get their traffic from organic results like SEO. So they're not just going to make do with this and get away with it because it would crush a lot of their revenue. Now let's move into the hidden motivations of search. Look, as Eric Schmidt once said, brands are the solution, not the problem. Brands are how you sort out the cesspool. He was the ex-CEO and chairman of Alphabet, which is Google. And being able to lead and motivate people is perhaps the most valuable quality a brand can have. If you look at what ranks, not just on Google, but most platforms, they like showcasing brands more because they know they're less likely to create fake information. You need to, in essence, build a brand. If you look at the term shoes and Nike, Nike globally is searched more than shoes. I understand Nike has more products than shoes, but that's the power of a brand. If you look at Uber in the United States, it's bigger than the whole taxi cab industry. Again, the power of a brand. When you're focusing on creating content to appeal to search, it's not just about appealing to the customer and trying to get them to buy. You need to create content not just on the product or the service, but you need to talk about all right, what are all the problems customers may face? Because that's what they're searching for. And you need to answer all those problems. So that way, when they go to your website, you've built up that trust. They can learn about your products, your services, and any other problems they're facing, which will cause them more likely to remember your brand, evangelize it, and buy from you versus the competition. This is where we need to look at content. See, most people just create content around the product and service, which I just talked about, or, a little bit more of top of funnel terms like some awareness, but they're not really focusing on the problems people are facing or those new searches, that 15% of searches that are new and have never been searched before. If you want a list of those 15% of searches that have never been searched before, you can actually get a lot of them from Answer the Public. It breaks down and showcases a lot of the search terms that are just popular and are just starting to be searched. And those are the ones that you should consider leveraging and integrating within your content strategy, your SEO strategy, and even your paid strategy. Look, it comes down to the content paradox. The more people that learn about your product or service without buying your product or service, the more people are likely to buy from you. And that's why education is a key. And again, you need to go after that 15% of searches that most people don't target. Another cool thing about search is they're really trying to adapt to people. 87 people searched Google for gun control at the same time across the United States. They were logged out. They're using incognito, in essence, private browsing. They saw 19 domains ordered 31 different ways. In essence, Google is trying to use all that data to give you the best experience. And they're going to continually do that more often in the future, especially with the changes they're making with Bard and AI. When you're creating your content, I want you to keep in mind the peak end rule. This is how people remember you. This is what they think about you. So how can you get them to really love your brand, your product or service? You need to create amazing experiences towards the beginning of when someone buys your product, and of course, the end as well. This is how people remember you. So for example, if someone buys a bike from you, right, a bicycle, you want to make sure that you're creating that amazing moment where they can learn how to ride. They're going to get amazing experience. They're going to get freedom, the wind in their hair, although I don't have much hair. And of course, in between, they may fall and scrape their knees and get hurt while they're learning to ride a bike. But at the end, right, the first peak was that moment where they're like, oh my God, I can get some of these experiences. Maybe you have to put on training wheels on that bike for them to get that. But in between, they may fall, and that's where you get the gray areas, and they may scrape their knees or get a little hurt. But at the end, once they can ride on their own, they don't need training wheels, and they're riding with their friends and having a ton of fun, it's going to create another positive experience. That's the peak end rule. It's these positive emotions that create memories, and it's done a lot of times by value and how they remember the product and service when they're interacting with it. Now let's transition into multiple searches, answers, and impact. In essence, we're going beyond search. So what most people don't know, when you look at the average media usage in an internet minute as of August 2021, I know this data is a little bit old, but it's still very similar today. And this is coming from Domo, which is an analytics company here in the United States. When they were looking at pretty much the whole internet, TikTok, more people were spending an average minute on TikTok or Facebook Live or iMessage. Google searches were a fraction of what they're spending when it comes to videos watched on TikTok or even Instagram. That just tells you search isn't where most people spend their time, but it is where they're finding a lot of value. And when you look at the most search queries on Google, 60% of them are brands. YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Amazon, Instagram, right? These are all brands. Even Gmail, it's a brand. And when you look at 40% of the top queries, they're social platforms, which is massive. And when you look at the 7th and 9th place, it talks about internationalization, Google Translate, and 7th is Translate as well. The number 3rd one, I don't know why people on Google search for Google, but they do. And of course, there's shopping terms as well, which is Amazon. But here's an interesting quote, and this is from a Google SVP. In our study, something like almost 40% of young people, when they're looking for a place for lunch, they don't go to Google Maps or search. He continued, they go to TikTok and Instagram. Look, just because Google is leveraging AI and so is Bing, it doesn't mean the other platforms won't. And people are using the other platforms to make decisions and also search. And you got to adapt. In the United States, we had a company called Blockbuster. Most people don't know about them now. Why? Because Netflix ate their lunch, and now everyone uses Netflix instead of Blockbuster. Why should you have to drive to a store to rent a movie when you can just click some buttons on your TV? Even with YouTube, YouTube's ad business is almost matching the revenue of Netflix. That's how popular YouTube is getting. US teens have chosen YouTube over Netflix for the first time ever, right? And that's continually changing over time. That's from Business Insider. So you need to adapt. And we saw that with the digital convenience, in which there was a major shift on how people work and live, some people working from home and using Zoom, and lives change. And the same has gone with marketing and advertising, in which people are just spending their money on search and, let's say, social. But now it's where they're spending their money on places like Amazon marketing and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and Reddit and media buys. And it's all over. It's not one platform is just getting all the revenue. It's now money is being spread across multiple channels and not just search. Now, when you think about some of these platforms, they can affect decisions just as much as a query that someone may type in. For example, holiday shopping is happening earlier and across several months, and 40% of shoppers go to Google when researching a purchase that they plan to make in store or online. And people, 89%, agree that YouTube creators give them the best information about products or brands. Hence, YouTube is also the second most popular search engine, which I mentioned earlier. So you can't just optimize for Google. You got to look at all the platforms. There's also web stories. This is Google's version of Instagram. They also added shorts to YouTube. Web stories isn't doing that well, but they're adding it, just like they're adding AI. And there's always going to be zero-click content, whether it's Google or whether it's YouTube or whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. There's always zero-click content. That's not going to go away. You're going to see more of that with AI, and that's okay. According to Danny Sullivan from Google, Google has consistently driven more traffic to websites each and every single year to other websites. So just keep that in mind. Don't be too worried about AI. They're not going to crush everything from SEO to paid because they still need it to generate the income. And they're also doing a lot of other changes like annotations to ads to make them stand out. They're also making it where they're integrating ads within the AI, which can also help generate more sales. And consumer behaviors are changing. People are using a lot of different platforms to figure out, all right, what should I make purchases on? And if you look at the graphs and the descriptions, right, some of our red product descriptions on post to learn more about the brand. And when you look at this, a lot of people strongly agree with a lot of these sentiments or somewhat agree or don't know and they're neutral. But when you look at these three categories, they make up the majority. That means people are adapting. They're not just using one platform, they're using them all. In a sense, omni-channel is going to be the future for people deciding where they're going to purchase. That doesn't just mean people are going to use their desktop computers or mobile devices. I'm talking about they're going to use different platforms to educate themselves and make different decisions. So now let's dive into dominating the search, and this is the last section. It's pretty quick. I can't emphasize enough that you need to be omni-channel to do well, and you need to build a brand. Without these two things, it's going to be hard to stand out, and you're going to get lost in the long run. Look, search engines, platforms tell you what works for most of their algorithms, and they give you these stats and data. A lot of this stuff is already regurgitated around the web, so I'm not going to go over it one by one. And same with LinkedIn and Facebook. But the thing that I learned, and this is what I wanted to wrap up with, is if you want to do well, and that's why I showed you LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and all the platforms, search isn't just Google. You need to be on all the platforms. If you're not on all the platforms, you're not going to be winning. And that's why at my ad agency, NP Digital, we don't just help people with their SEO. We help them with their paid ads, whether it's paid Google ads or paid Facebook ads or Instagram ads. We also help them out with their email marketing. We help them out with their conversion optimization. We help them out even with their organic social. We even help them with their content creation. You need a full strategy to do well. And if you're interested in working with us, you can always go to npdigital.com, where we also have an India agency, and we're helping a lot of companies in India grow. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day.